Here's more wrestling news for September 2nd, 2022, and we're starting off this afternoon with AEW as Ariya Daivari made his debut for the company on the November 12th, 2021 Rampage, losing to Dante Martin, but the ex-WWE superstar has found a great role behind the scenes. It wasn't too long ago that Daivari had been working with WWE as a producer, but now he's taken his talents of producing to the All Elite company. Fightful report that Daivari has been credited with producing matches for the women's division on AEW Dynamite as of late, with sources indicating he's been very helpful in the role. There's a strong possibility that Daivari may book the recently announced Fatal 4-Way match at All Out, which will be his biggest test to date in the role. Daivari had also earned acclaim for his backstage work with WWE, but a full-time role as producer over there wasn't meant to be, but WWE's loss is proving to be AEW's gain with the talented wrestler/promoter. This weekend, Shayna Baszler is looking to win her first singles title on WWE's main roster when she faces SmackDown Women's Champion Liv Morgan in Cardiff. Baszler was called up to WWE's main roster in early 2020, and despite an impressive start, eliminating all 5 other women in the Elimination Chamber, she's yet to win a singles title on Raw or SmackDown. While speaking to Rick Ucchino on Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast, Baszler reflected on her run so far and isn't letting anything stop her now. Obviously, the dream for anybody that gets into this business is win the title on a big show and have your moment. It just so happens, I don't even think it's as far back as 2020, but real recently there's been this kind of what am I doing right now, And then the gauntlet match came about and it was okay, let's go. And it was the perfect time of this change is about, right? Change is in the air. Change is in the air. This whole thing happens, and then there's a gauntlet match, and the women open SummerSlam, and all this crazy stuff happened. I think that very next Raw, the women were all over the show. They had 3 matches, and it was okay, now's the time to really get your poop in a group and get some stuff done. So yeah, I don't know. Regardless of how long it took, it's happening now, and I'm not gonna waste it. Baszler is incredibly confident going into this weekend's huge championship match, and after years of stop-start pushes and working in the women's tag division, is determined to finally have her breakout moment tomorrow night. Now, AEW has been plagued by injuries in recent months, with CM Punk and Bryan Danielson only recently returning to the ring, but another top star recently got hurt that fans didn't know of at the time. On the August 10th Quake by the Lake edition of AEW Dynamite, Chris Jericho faced Jon Moxley for the interim AEW World title, and not only failed to become champion, but was injured in the process. In a Facebook post from Fozzy, it is said that Jericho is currently recovering from a severely bruised larynx that he suffered in his match against Moxley. Due to this injury, Fozzy's upcoming tour has been slightly changed, as the first 2 weeks of the tour have been pushed back to the spring of 2023 in order to give Jericho time to heal. Injured or not, Jericho is set to face off against Bryan Danielson at Sunday's All Out pay-per-view, but the first ever undisputed and AEW World Champion won't be going into this match at 100%. More from AEW now, as it recently was reported that Malakai Black had requested his release from the company, and that his release had been granted. However, the rumors seemed to be debunked on this week's Dynamite, as Malakai Black and his stable were announced to face Sting, Darby Allin, and Miro at All Out, leaving many to wonder what exactly is happening with the House of Black leader. When Fightful Select asked, it was said that reports that Black had requested his release have been shut down by representatives within AEW. With that said, outside sources have stated that there was indeed a request, though this has not been confirmed by the company. Request or no request, it's been reported that Black has been unhappy with his role in AEW despite the company's efforts to smooth things over. Black is still with AEW and only 1 year into a 5-year deal, so don't expect him to go anywhere, whether he wants to or not. This Sunday, AEW will crown an interim women's world champion, as Thunder Rosa will be unable to defend her title due to an injury. Like CM Punk's run as AEW World Champion, Rosa will still be recognized as Women's Champion, despite the efforts of Rosa herself. Appearing on Busted Open Radio, Tony Khan explains that when he was speaking with Rosa after her injury, she offered to relinquish the AEW Women's World Championship completely. This was the same case as with Punk, but like he did with the then AEW World Champion, Khan advised Rosa not to relinquish the title, saying it would deny fans of a fantastic title unification match down the line. It's been speculated by some that Rosa's injury is not legitimate and that AEW just want her away for the time being, while the real-life beef she has with some of the locker room cools off. Either Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Hikaru Shida, or Toni Storm will leave All Out with some gold, but no matter who is the interim champion, the holder of the gold will have to face Thunder Rosa when the time is right. Thunder Rosa confirmed that she will not be wrestling at All Out due to an injury, but her announcement on last week's Dynamite was met with a mixed response. Rosa's announcement was certainly emotional, but it was also short, in stark contrast to the lengthy in-ring promo CM Punk had when announcing his own injury in June. During the All Out media call, Tony Khan discussed the backlash he's received for how little time Rosa received and explained her brief promo. I strongly disagree with that he didn't care as much about Rosa. I very strongly disagree with that. I give TV time based on what I believe is going to draw the most ratings. If you want my honest opinion on an 8-minute Thunder Rosa promo versus an 8-minute CM Punk promo, then you're going to get an honest answer. I think the 8-minute CM Punk promo is going to do a better rating. Now, as far as match length, I think Thunder Rosa has had some great matches as champion, and to come out and do a wide 8-minute promo, I'm not sure that would have been good for the television show, to be honest with you. And especially given with where we are at with Thunder Rosa, I found out she was injured a few hours before live television show. I don't really have the time to put an 8-minute promo when I have just a couple hours notice versus CM Punk, who I knew days earlier was pretty badly hurt. Rosa has said that her injury is so bad that she can't even walk right now, and while her injury announcement was brief, it didn't mean that he didn't care about the AEW Women's World Champion. In May, Mercedes Martinez captured the ROH Women's World Championship by defeating Deonna Purrazzo, but fans haven't seen much of the champ. Martinez's last match was back at the NEW Zero Fear event in late July, but there's a reason for her absence. Tony Khan has revealed that Martinez is out with an injury, but it was not reported what kind of injury she has suffered. This is yet another setback for Khan, as the injury bug continues to affect his roster of talent that he uses in both AEW and Ring of Honor, with both of his Women's World Champions out of commission. With Khan working on plans for a weekly ROH show, hopefully Martinez won't be out of action for much longer, but for now, the promotion's Women's World Champion is officially on the shelf. As of late, it's been reported that some in AEW have been unhappy with the company, with reports that multiple wrestlers are close to their breaking point. Details have been scarce as to who exactly has been wanting out, but one name we can cross off the suspect list is Miro. Sean Ross Sapp notes that rumors about Miro wanting out of AEW are false, stating, "Another name that was listed by one of those less than reliable posters was that of former TNT champion Miro, claiming that he'd asked for his release. This was also shot down." While Miro did like a tweet stating he'd do better in WWE, sources close to the situation confirmed that he re-signed with AEW in late 2021, so don't expect the Redeemer to be going anywhere else anytime soon. Miro is sticking with AEW despite reports that he was looking to leave soon, but one name is officially finished with All Elite Wrestling. According to PW Insider, Bobby Fish is no longer with AEW as his contract expired on August 31st and he has not been re-signed. Fish signed with AEW in October of last year, answering a challenge by then TNT champion Sammy Guevara, and after high-profile matches with Bryan Danielson and CM Punk, would realign with Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. Fish was with AEW for less than a year, but things didn't exactly go as he had hoped. As Dave Meltzer explained, "He's done. It's confirmed he's done. Whatever the deal was, either he was not offered a renewal or he chose not to be renewed. He had said things. He had complained on his podcast about not getting enough matches." While Fish worked well with Cole and O'Reilly, he has been used less and less since they got injured, something that has clearly been an issue for the former NXT Tag Team Champion. In an interview last month, Fish spoke about his time in NXT, saying he'd run through a brick wall for Triple H because he's that loyal, and he may get that chance. The Game, who is now head of WWE's talent relations, has had Bruce Pritchard reach out to Fish, and negotiations between the two sides are currently underway. As a former NXT guy and now a former AEW guy, Bobby Fish seems a likely candidate to be rehired by WWE, though what he'll do should he get re-signed remains to be seen. For over 30 years, Jim Johnston worked with WWE, creating some of the promotion's most iconic theme songs. From Stone Cold Steve Austin to Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle to Vince McMahon, Johnston's themes are more famous than the man himself, who's had some choice words for the current themes. While speaking on the Insights podcast with Chris Van Vliet, Johnston discussed current theme songs in WWE and AEW and has a huge problem with them. The music now in WWE and AEW, I think it's all homogenous and it's mediocre and it doesn't have anything to do with the characters, and I think that's why there are less big stars. I don't think that there are no potential stars hiding there. I mean, before he was Steve Austin, he was the ringmaster, and there are many examples there. These people need the right storyline, the right costuming, and definitely the right music to lift them up. Particularly the music is serving multiple masters in a way. It's entertainment for the audience, it's a big boot in the ass for the wrestler before they go out to sort of get them in the headspace of their character and to kind of get them jacked up to do a great performance. Johnston added that generic themes have only hurt characters from establishing their characters by just their themes, and added that despite his decades with WWE, he didn't have a contract until the promotion became a publicly traded company in 1999. While there are some diamonds in the rough, like the themes of Roman Reigns, Bobby Lashley, Chris Jericho, or Adam Cole, it'd be hard to argue with Johnston's views, and perhaps one day we'll have themes as iconic as the ones he created. And we're ending today with Ryan Katz, who worked for WWE for years until his release in January this year as part of several cuts to NXT's crew. Katz, like everyone else cut at the time, had worked closely with Triple H and NXT before the launch of NXT 2.0, but now he's back with the company. Speaking on the Oh You Didn't Know podcast, Katz confirmed his return, though his return date, which was supposed to be yesterday, has been delayed slightly. Katz's co-host Road Dogg Jesse James has also been rehired by Triple H and is now working as Senior Vice President of Live Events as the game is ready to work again with Katz, Road Dogg, and others from his NXT days. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.